Legendary actor Paul Newman once said, if there truly is a heaven on earth, it must be VIR. For the first time in its half-century history, this truly glorious ribbon of racing real estate hosts the most prestigious event in amateur motorsports, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs. An absolutely glorious afternoon unfolding at one of the most glorious ribbons of real estate. I love using that phrase for Virginia International Raceway, the iconic Climbing S's, and a great afternoon of racing. And we are looking forward to a great one. This is Spec Miata's run to the gold for the National Championship, a class that came into existence in 2006 and immediately became a huge favorite. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Larry McLeod. Larry, this track, over 3¼ miles long, and with this group on it, it needs to be.
60 cars deep in the Spec Miata field, and they are going to be all up and down this track. It's going to look like a freight train for a while, especially the front. Cars are going to pack up, bundle up, because there are a couple of massive straightaways that need a lot of drafting for them. They're going to use every bit of these long straightaways to get to the front. They
are. It's going to be a great battle, and of course, as we come into a race like this, there are always some fascinating stories, and there's always some potential key players. And a bit earlier, Ryan Marine gave us a look.
Spec Miata, the short track of SCCA racing. It's in A and in B Miatas racing wheel-to-wheel and door-to-door in some of the closest competition you'll see all weekend. Let's meet a few of the contenders. Up first, Danny Stain, second in Hoosier Super Tour points in the pick to win by Sports Car Magazine. VIR is one of his favorite tracks. Preston Pardis, the 2017 champion, has 2 NASCAR Xfinity starts on his resume and was on the podium twice at VIR in the Hoosier Super Tour weekend. Jim Drago, the only 2-time champion in Spec Miata history. He's leading the Hoosier Super Tour points and is the boss at East Street Racing. Tyler Cassera won Hoosier Super Tour races in 2017 and 2018. He's a veteran of Trans Am competition and is missing a Runoffs podium, but this could be the breakthrough weekend. Chris Haldeman, he's also a contender in the STL and STU classes and was on the podium a year ago at Sonoma. And Elivan Goulart, a 4-time national champion, including in 2011 in Spec Miata. He recently scored his first SRO Americas GT4 win.
Yeah, they're contenders all, but the story is there's a lot of other ones that are going to be back in the pack that have potential as well to be able to come to the front, and they've got 15 laps to be able to do it. And right now, this massive field is staged up down in the pre-grid, and down amongst them all is the third member of our broadcast team. Let's welcome in Hayward Wagner.
Afternoon, guys. I've been on grid with the Spec Miata drivers for the last little bit, shaking hands, wishing each other good luck. I asked a lot of them the question, you have any friends in this field? Who are you buddying up with? The top 3 cars on the grid right now are all from the same engine builder. Those guys all want to do their brand pride, want to see a good finish there. Preston Pardis feels like he's got 2 good buddies on either side of him. In fourth, Matt Reynolds asked him if he had any friends. He said, yeah, a few. I said, are they in front of you or behind you? He said he wasn't sure, so we'll see how it plays out for him. And up the grid a little bit further, the sports car pick, Danny Stain, he's in 8th spot. What he's super aware of, really paying attention to, is what happens in braking zones on these long trains. Because when the first car brakes a little late, the next one goes a little earlier, a little earlier. By the time you get to the back of a train, you feel like your brake zones are super, super early. And that could cause drivers to get impatient. They want to get as deep into the corner as they can. They can't get there. And a lot of times that impatience leads to a little anxiety, leads to a little bump up, and that's what creates the gaps in these fields.
Great information, Hayward, absolutely. And one of the things, Larry, is when you're in those trains, you're driving through 3 or 4 windshields in front of you. You're looking out to try and pick. This is some serious bandwidth requiring racing.
They were practicing this during qualifying and practice earlier this week. You would see, in fact, in the first practice qualifying on Tuesday, a group of them were gridded apart, pulled off at the end of the pit lane just to bunch up and have their own qualifying session. And they are not just helping each other qualify, but they're also practicing that nose-to-tail racing.
Yeah, you've got to get comfortable with it. It's how you go fast. And speaking of going fast, our Tire Rack Pole Award winner, the number 56, is Todd Burris out of Melbourne, Florida, in Florida region. The Hoosier East Street Racing 2001 Mazda Miata. Great lap, a 2:14.552. That was just a tenth off of what the track record is. They're only set during races, but it gives an idea of just how fast these cars are going. Heard, hey, we're talking about Preston Pardis. He qualified outside of the front row in the number 42 Dennis Utilities E Street Racing entry. Then the number 2 of Jim Drago. As we talked about, the only 2-time medalist, gold medalist in this class out of Memphis, Tennessee for E Street. Then the 74 of Matt Reynolds, who's a 3-time gold medalist in runoffs competition in general, winning E-Prod last year, by the way, out in Sonoma. Starting 5th, the number 22 of Michael Ross, only his 3rd runoff start in the X Factor Racing entry, up with some of the guns. Speaking of guns, starting in 6th, the number 77, 4-time gold medalist and a winner in this class in 2011, Elvin Goulart in the SCDA, that's the Sports Car Drivers Association.com Krug Speed Mazda. Starting 7th, the 97 is going to be Brian Henderson in the BDL Motorsports Performance Auto Mazda. And starting in 8th, you heard Hayward talk about him, the 39, Danny Stain out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's a 2-time gold medalist now in the STL category, looking to add one here in the Rossini Racing OPM G-Lox Mazda. Starting in the 9th spot, the number 61, making his 3rd run-off start, Jonathan Davis in another Rossini Engines G-Lock Mazda. And rounding out the top 10, a former gold medalist in the T4 category, Touring 4, number 8, Danny Bender out of Chicago region in the Bravo Trailers entry. Starting in the 11th spot, making his 3rd start, we heard about him earlier from Ryan, the 44 of Tyler Casera out of Mannheim, Pennsylvania in the X Factors Carbotech Mazda Miata. Starting in 12th, Nick Bruni. A little surprised to see the number 16 that far back after sitting on the pole and being a contender in the 2 VIR National Majors races in the spring. Watch for him to come up through the back, also racing for E Street and Meathead Racing. Starting 13th, the 149 of Peter Enser in the Paget Brakes Peter Enser Racing entry. Starting in the 14th spot, the 96 Jared Thomas out of North Vernon, Indiana in the Race Engineering Carbotech Mazda Miata. Both of them first runoff starts. Starting in the 15th spot, the number 78 of Clark Camburn out of DeWitt, Michigan in the Apex Broadcast Mazda Miata. Actually had a time in one of the sessions that was 3rd fastest at that time. Had a little incident on the track. The times got pulled. There he heads out on track. But he has been in the top 5 in every practice session up until that last qualifying session where he slipped back just a little bit as he had a mechanical issue. The guy that's now building Clark's engine starts right alongside. Interesting story there. In 16th, the number 28 of Chris Haldeman out of McKinney, Texas, in the X Factor G-Lock Mazda Miata, starting 17th, making his 18th run-off start, the number 4 of Rob Hines, a gold medalist in the Touring 2 category back at Mid-Ohio in 1999. Rounding out the top 18, the number 70 of Tyler Quantz for Cypress, Texas, in the Drake Motorsports Miata Graveyard Mazda Miata. And completing your top 20, starting in the 19th spot, the 66 of Charles McTuckus out of Columbia, South Carolina, in the Panic Motorsports entry, and the 75 of Mike Collins out of Frederick, Maryland, in Washington, D.C. region, in the Meathead Racing Mazda Miata. They are out on their pace and parade lap, 60 cars strong. When we come back, we'll go to the green in the run for the goal with Spec Miata. Huge field. It's going to take him a long time to get out and gathered up. And everybody, of course, Larry's going to be paying a lot of attention, making sure that those tires are nice and scrubbed up and ready to go for what's going to be, I think, an absolutely frantic run into turn 1. It's such a tricky corner, and we have seen over the years here with races, over this weekend already, things go wrong in the middle of the pack in turn 1.
You can see that shot right there from the outside of 1. See the elevation changes? It comes down. Those cars get light under braking, and there's been a couple of oil downs on the left side of the track. It tends to tighten it up a little bit. It's hard to get a pass going down the outside. It really makes that turn 1, but it probably is the best passing zone here.
And it's tough to tell some of these guys, you got to be patient through those first few corners and let things settle a little bit. They have an opportunity to move up a little bit, especially if they're back a bit and they know they're fast. It's going to be interesting.
It's a long race, but
Yes.
if you're sitting in 20th, you're thinking, if I'm going to get in the top 10 and stay with them, I got to make a move early, but that could cost you and a lot of folks behind you. If you're in the top 10, I think your strategy is just to stay there and be patient, wait for the second half.
And, that leads me to, thinking about it here. Back in the order a bit, Brian Henderson, right next to him is Danny Stain. They're both fast. Do they just say, we've got to work together here to get up to the front? You've also got Danny Bender, Nicholas Bruni, only a couple of spots apart with Tyler Casera in the mix.
Actually, on that one,
how about
Casera not starting, actually, as he had hurt his ankle here earlier this week. He's listening in from a hospital, had some surgery on that ankle. He's going to be okay in a couple of months. Unfortunately, one of our favorites here, not able to run, but that does put Bruni and Bender together then.
And then I would think maybe Cameron and Haldeman, since Haldeman's building his engines, they're both very quick. they would team up a little bit to try and get to the front. That's all part of the chess match that you have to play.
And Haldeman's got to be a bit disappointed. He's had some good runs in some other races. At this Runoffs, he was third last year at Sonoma. We know he's disappointed with qualifying way back in 16th on row 8. He's going to be hungry to move up early in this race and get near the front of the pack, because the top ones, a couple there, as you talked to Hayward there, the East Street group are going to work together, and they're going to try and pull away if they can break a draft. But you got to stay close if you want to be in at the end.
Here's the run out of turn 12 and this long climbing, then dropping straight that they call Madison Avenue. And this is where we're going to see drafting battles extraordinaire unfold on this track here. I think it's going to be interesting because you've got to probe, you've got to figure out what's working, what's not, but at all costs, you don't want to give up momentum in these cars.
You really don't, which means you got to get the great hook off of the oak tree turn at the far end. You got to get a draft, but if you break out too early from that draft, somebody's going to come up behind you and use you as their draft. And as you can see them now coming down a short hill, it's actually still going to continue uphill, go into 13, 14, and that's another possible passing spot.
And one last comment about Halderman. Of all the drivers that are here this weekend that ran in the runoffs last year, he's the highest finisher with that silver medal or that bronze medal. So that's going to be important. Lights are out on the safety car, the beautiful blue Camaro with the Diamond Anniversary 75th birthday wrap for the Sports Car Club of America. It will make its run into pit lane, and then a front row of East Street racers, Todd Burris and Preston Pardis, will lead this field of 60 cars to green for 15 laps of competition to determine our national champion in Spec Miata in the run for the gold. The 56th running of this championship. Our coverage today, by the way, presented by Mazda. We appreciate that and look forward to calling this one. This one should be an absolute barn burner. Pace car is in, and right now Burris bringing them up very, very gingerly. Field packing up absolutely beautifully, and looking forward to that green flag. And Drago is almost glued to the back of Burris here. He knows what's coming. Green flag flies. We are away. Burris eases up to the inside of Preston Pardis. Watch for them down into one. Pardis going to try and ramp the outside, but there's all that oil dry out there. Boy, he got really freight trained. He's going to drop back 3, 4, maybe 5 spots. Now he's forced off. Gathers it back up again. That may have been Matt Reynolds that actually got into it with.
Back.
Yes.
So now he's 3 wide there, though, still coming in, as they have not yet sorted out this field. But by the time they get to the S's, they've got to be single file. Going double through there is always a losing one.
Yep, well, and going 3 wide there, as we just saw, not going to work out very well either. And this field now starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm here, but really costly for those 2 guys in particular, Pardis and Reynolds, dropping way back in the order.
See how often it looks like Haldeman's car, but I can't tell.
Yeah, wasn't sure either on that. But up front, here we go. Burris and Drago in lockstep right now.
Those teammates already working together, and they are bumping. If you've ever seen the in-car video of these Spec Miatas, there's a lot of bumping. There's, in fact, a kiss cam video that's out there. They will touch constantly around this track.
Yeah, call it bump drafting, and you just don't want to get rid of the momentum, so you'll actually just run up, bump the guy in front of you, push him along a little bit, and at the same time be able to make things work for you. See a couple of guys running just a little bit wide as well, but already that little bit of a break here for Burris and Drago. Just a couple of car lengths, but sometimes that can be enough.
And they're signaling to each other. Again, if you ever watch in-car, these guys, they'll be constantly noting to each other, okay, it's time to go, time to go. Look at, they're touching.
Yeah, basically there, Drago is just giving him a little bit of an assist all the way down that straight. Now they fold it into turn 14. Tricky left-hander into the braking zone, then it drops down the hill into the roller coaster. That lead duo absolutely on it already. Continuing, that margin's now stretched to 3 car lengths. May not sound like much. In this class, it's huge.
They are trying to break that draft, but if you notice, as they approach the braking zone, Drago backs off with just about half a car length to make sure that when they go into braking, they can each brake without interrupting each other and then maintain the pace down the roller coaster. Again, it's that 4 car lengths, so that does make a big, big difference in this drafting class.
Ooh, big lurid slide deep in the pack.
Michael LeMania, I think, the number 188 there.
Yep, just got it wrong coming down through the corner they call hog pen. Very tricky turn, and was able to gather it up and settle in just a little bit here. As we're watching them slide through.
That's Pardis going the inside of Ross there. Slips in behind him.
in number 40. Yep, there's Pardis, as you said. Behind him, the 77 of Element Goulart, who was proven to be very quick this week and former champ in this class, no surprise. But he's one of those guys that I'm not sure he's got, those partners out there. He's running for the Krug Speed team. And he's been doing a lot of these really strong laps he's been putting in pretty much on his own.
He has been, but in this place you really do have to work together, because if you don't, you lose your dance partner and you're going to lose a draft. Stain's kind of in the middle right there. He's one of the ones we were wondering, does he have a partner to play with?
Well, the partner we speculated, the 97 of Henderson, has gone from 7th to 3rd and took advantage of that moment between that Pardis and Reynolds when they got freight trained a bit, and Henderson jumped on that opportunity with a great opening lap. Ross then behind him, and then you see Pardis now has slipped around the 61 of Davis, and Pardis now up into the top 5. That's that 5th place white machine with the big 42 on the door.
So Brian Henderson's had a bit of a busy week. He was here on Tuesday, he qualified in this car, and then he flew down to Atlanta and he ran the TCR race actually yesterday, flew back here last night. So he didn't even qualify Wednesday, Thursday. He's standing on his Tuesday times. Apparently it didn't hurt him at all as he's sitting up here in 3rd right now.
Yeah, having a really, really strong run at this stage and trying to reel in Burris and Drago and not let them get any farther clear at this stage.
And this is where you can tell Burris and Drago are definitely teammates, because there's no popping out for any kind of a pass. This is completely by strategy. As Drago, as Hayward mentioned, kind of the founder of that team, the East Street team, but with Burris, the pole sitter, running strong out in front right now, and Drago just pushing him along.
Goulart sits in 7th, Bruni in 8th, Reynolds back in 9th, and as you said, Denny Stain sitting in that 10th spot. It's not where he's going to want to be here. They need to figure out a way to start making up just a little bit of ground here. It's just, I love this shot because these cars, it's never ending with a field this size as they come down and cycle down. Here we go. Burris hard onto the brakes. And Burris already has a little bit of track knowledge. He was 7th in the T3 race a bit earlier in the day, so he's got a little bit of track knowledge, not something everybody has.
That looked like Domenico Lucci there on that off. Hopefully he's able to continue.
So it's Burris leading from Drago, a little bit of a break, then Henderson, Ross, and Pardis on the charge here at VIR. Burris, Drago, then the gap, then Henderson, Ross, Pardis, and coming with Pardis now is the 77 of Goulart in that black machine right behind Pardis in that white number 42. And there's that little bit of a break behind them. Back to Davis, Reynolds, Stain, and Bruni. This is just what we're going to be seeing for a while. People are just going to try and run in lockstep, and that's what Henderson wanted. He has now got to the back of Drago's bumper. He's brought everybody with him. This is that pack we're talking about. Look at this. This is 10, 12 cars that are essentially nose to tail as they exit 12.
Yeah, watching this group here, as mentioned, Henderson not part of the East Street team. Same thing there for Ross sitting in 4th. And you watch them poke out a little bit. Now seeing those 3 bump drafting because 3 cars in a line is faster than 1 car in a line.
Well, you saw the 1 car popped out there, got up alongside, hit that wall of air, and nobody let him in. Just floated right back into the queue.
Just get freight trained by everybody else. He's stepping out there on that back straight it's a bad move.
Yeah, you got to be mindful of that for sure. This is number 4 of Rob Hines. A lot of experience behind the wheel of that car, and he has worked his way. He was up a little bit higher. He slipped back into 15th. As we look, there is Denny Stain.
He's one of our, actually Hines again, one of our former winners in this field. He won T2 20 years ago at Mid-Ohio. There's a whole lot of former champions in this field. We talked about Pardis. Drago's won this twice. Goulart's won a bunch of championships. Reynolds has a couple. Stain's now got 2. Hines, as I mentioned, there's champions everywhere in this field.
So far, fast lap in the race from the guy running 13th, Tyler Quanson, the number 70 at a 2:16.7. Now that's a ways off of the track record, which holds, interestingly, from a long time ago. Oh, Denny Stain, a problem. Is that a pull-off, or did he get forced off?
Didn't notice, so he was already in the grass, but he's not making an attempt to get back on. But he's driving around as if he may try when he sees a gap.
That's the guy tipped to win.
He's not.
No, something has gone wrong.
It's unfortunate. Like you mentioned, he was on the cover of Sports Car. He had a great run in STL last year, this year, but unfortunately here in Spec Miata, not his day.
Well, he's one of those guys, he's been working on his racecraft for year after year after year. Every year he wins more races, he gets faster. And I'll tell you, I was at the June sprints when in Spec Miata in the second day it started wet, and he put on a wet weather clinic and had disappeared on the field. When it dried up, he had nobody with him. The 3 guys behind him made up a huge deficit drafting. Ooh. Oh, that's why he pulled off.
Yep.
A little bit of a problem here. And the problem is it's very dry here. And as a result, you get these grass fires. So I'm not sure that he had an issue that was the fire when he pulled off.
I think it's just the hot car on top of the dry grass.
Like
you said,
right.
he's just trying to keep moving the car so he doesn't lose the car. Danny is.
But he needs to be aware now. There is flame up inside the engine there, and here comes one of the rescue units.
It's unfortunate for him. He is one of the most prepared drivers out here. If you read the article in Sports Car this month, he talks about his regimen of eating and physical fitness, and everything is so prepared. And he was ready for a long fight here in Spec Miata, and unfortunately the car is not going to make it to the checker.
Nope, and then we, as a result now, with that fire and needing to get that rescue unit on the track and to the corner, we are under a full course caution here.
One thing nice about a field that runs nose to tail, it's quick and easy to gather them up for a safety car if we need to.
That's very true. Not a lot of people lagging too much in this one. And you hope you can just, once they get the fire out, they can hook the car up, get it into a safe spot, make sure the grass fire is out, and get back after it here.
And Danny really making sure that there's nothing with that car. Is watching very carefully, and then the workers on site so quickly.
Yeah, doing a nice job. So that's a shame to see one of the favorites, certainly, and one that many considered a title contender here, struggling here already in the early going of the run for the gold here in Spec Miata at Virginia International Raceway. It's Burris, Drago, Henderson continuing to hold the top 3 medal spots as we're under caution here at VIR.
Janice.
What's up, Doug? Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Isn't it time you connected to something greater? Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect. This moment of escape was brought to you by Haggerty, for people who love cars.
Find inspiration in every mile. The Mazda CX-5 with turbo. Feel alive.
Huge Spec Miata field continues to run under caution here at Virginia International Raceway, the 56th running of SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs. First time ever at Virginia International Raceway, and my colleague earlier in the weekend, Ryan Marine, said I have to ask why. This place is absolutely gorgeous, and it's great to be here. It just has taken too long for this to happen. There's the good sign, Denny, everything under control. Have him on the hook and getting that car removed from the track. A bit of a reset here, and you thought 15 laps for 16 cars was a sprint.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We're going to have ourselves a 10-lap sprint here in a second. But again, they're going to just kind of reset just like we were. It doesn't really change a whole lot as they're going to work to get the heat back in their tires. Those Hoosier SM7s need a little bit of work in them. We saw in qualifying it would take about 3 laps for them to really hit their qualifying pace. So everyone trying to get back to that so that as we go into turn 1, there's a little bit of grip there.
Field just trying to make sure that those tires are as scrubbed up. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just absolutely key here. And looking to see, it'll be right in this area where we would expect to see the lights out on the safety car. If, in fact, that is what the plan is here, we'll keep an eye on that. It'd be nice to get this going and let these guys race it out here. And the only problem is this is stolen 2, 3, 4 laps from the guys that are back a little bit that needed some time to be able to work their way to the front. That doesn't help them at all.
It doesn't. It's hard. You know, you think there's going to be someone from the top, outside the top 10 who can get himself up near a podium, and now you really start working. You probably got to start chipping off a little bit of traffic. But it was wet here in the spring for the majors. There's a great video from Danny Staines in car camera where he started back in the 20s, worked his way up to the front. Unbelievable how fast he was able to pick traffic. But today I don't see that quite happening in this drier weather. It's going to be a lot harder to pick through. You might be able to jump a spot, but if you don't start doing it soon, you're not going to get there if you're not already in the top 6 or 7.
Now you better be ready to do it because it is pace car time in. We are going to be going back to green here in Spec Miata through that final turn, hog pen, and rolling up to catch that green flag. Burris, Drago, Henderson, and the ensuing group. And you can't even see Ross for a minute there in the number 22 behind these guys. We're green. And that is a train, and I mean it. They are locked together, pushing each other. And the problem is you've got to know when to release the brake so you don't send the guy spinning. Oh, and a big aggressive move from the number 22 of Ross. Made it work. Ducks underneath Henderson. Floats wide. That forces Drago wide as well. And here comes Elvin Goulart, who crossed the line in 5th. He's 3rd.
Yeah, Ross not part of that group there. He wants to make a move. He did. Not really good room there to go 3 wide, but nobody completely out of this. Again, they are, as a pack of 8, interesting there is you look at where 9th is Reynolds. He's the one that was holding up everyone behind him. When they hit the starter stand, there was a pack of 8 and then a long gap to 9 through the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reynolds, of course, one of the guys that had that moment when he faded. I mean, he had a great qualifying run up into 4th. He dropped almost out of the top 10. And now that will put him up into the 8th spot. Now Burris does not have a friend behind him. And he's got a very aggressive number 22 of Michael Ross.
He's in the X Factor team, not the East Streets. As we watch teams play out here, now that he's been able to break up the East Streets, now he can stay on the tail of our leader Burris and try to force him into a mistake.
And Jared Thomas, he is having a superb race today. Crossed the line in the 8th spot. I think he's now up into the 6th spot. And you look down where he started in this one, 14th in the Race Engineering Carbotech machine. He is putting on a stunning drive against some awfully stout competition here as we take a look through this massive field, working their way down the piece of racetrack called Madison Avenue.
Thomas is smart enough to stay up with that front 8 when they made that break.
Here comes Drago trying to get around on Goulart. Goulart having none of it, shutting the door. Drago thought maybe I can cut back down underneath, do something with it there. That didn't work out.
Goulart actually owning his own driving school company and certainly showing his skills there, keeping the wily veteran behind him.
Yep, SCCA.1.com, Sports Car Driving Association, and having a lot of success with that, and he's also just an incredibly accomplished and fast driver at this stage. But right now, Burris has himself just a little bit of a break over Ross. And here we go, Drago again now. He's going to try and work the way outside of Elvin Goulart as they head down into turn 1.
And it shows you right there that Ross doesn't really want that inside, doesn't really want to make those moves. He's okay just staying in behind.
Right behind somebody else dropping a tire big time in the back there, gathered it up again.
Look at this gap. This gap is just huge there.
There's the 78 of Camburn, and right behind him, he's trying to pick that number out, couldn't quite grab it. It's huge packs of cars. There's the 149 of Ensor. The white machine, there's the...
it's Collins there, 75.
Yeah, Collins, 18th.
The Haggerty car there.
At the run. Haggerty becoming a great partner, not just of the racers on the track, but of Sports Car Club of America, as well as the official insurance partner, and really providing some fabulous programs.
And McKill Haggerty is our Grand Marshal here this week at this Runoffs.
So, ooh, look at this. Goulart popped to the inside into 11. I don't think Ross saw that or expected it at all. And Goulart was able to do it and roll a little bit of speed, so he didn't exactly lag coming out of 12th there. That was a beautiful move.
Beautiful pass. He just able to carry the momentum coming off of South Bend and able to get to the inside. Most of the time, they're a little conservative around there, especially at this point in the race, but not this time. Keeping an eye also on Henderson, or excuse me, on Reynolds, as he was able to catch up with this pack. The break is now behind him.
Yes.
This has turned into a 9-car field, not just the 8. So he's got speed if he's able to make that ground up without a drafting partner.
Speed, lots of experience. Ooh, Burris floated it just a little wide, but not enough that Goulart was able to take much advantage of it. And then you've got Ross. And this is interesting. You've got the two guys that are really kind of on their own compared to the rest of the East Street boys up front, the 77 of Goulart and the 22 of Ross, that they're out there doing their own thing at this stage.
And the other side of this is you got the two young ones there with Burris and Ross, the two drivers only in their third start in Runoffs, and Goulart, of course, a multi-time champion. He's sandwiched right in between them. We'll see if he uses that veteran experience to make a good, clean pass here.
Oh, that was, if it sticks, that was a nice setup move by Henderson, because he sold to 61 of Jonathan Davis that he was going to go to the outside. Davis covered it, and he cut right back through. But now, look at this. Goulart and Ross have found a way through on Burris. Burris shuffled back into third, Drago fourth, and Goulart into the lead, at least for a second. Lockup, though. Burris trying to squeeze down and split that group. Somehow, everybody avoids major contact, but Preston Pardis just got shuffled way back again.
Yeah, NASCAR Bend earning its name right there. As it was 2 by 2 by 2 as they went into 4, 3, and 4. Unbelievable. And Pardis did lose out, but with 7.5 laps to go, there's plenty of time to jump.
And that was a tremendous piece of driving by Todd Burris after dropping to third to find a gap, split him, and at least jump back into the second spot. But up front now, the 77 of Esteban Goulart at VIR. Welcome back as Esteban Goulart leads. However, he might just be freight trained here as that blue and white machine of Todd Burris with a big shove from the 22 of Ross goes right on by, and Goulart smartly doesn't fight it, tucks in behind, and keeps this train alive. It is a train right now of 10 cars, then a little bit of a break, but here's the story. Clark Camburn, after having dropped back to 18th, is now leading that second queue, running in 11th. He needs a caution.
He would love to have it to gain that 4 seconds, and he's trailing it. He's got the veteran Cephalo right behind him as well. See if they can work a little bit. Actually, he's got even in between them, I think that's the Enser, the number 149. Yep. So those three are going to have to work together if they have any chance to try and catch that lead pack, because that lead pack is flying right now, running 2:16s.
And a big off there. I think that might be the number 47 that had himself a big run through the grass there. Alan Cross out of Alpharetta, Georgia, the OPM X Factor Mazda. Meanwhile, Burris, Ross in the second, Goulart third, Drago running a little bit different line there. And then Henderson. Henderson's going to try and throw it down inside of Drago. Got a little bit of a different line. Open that door up. Goulart dropping his rights.
Henderson and Goulart, a couple of the pros that have still racing here at the club level, mixing it up with the rest of the club level veterans.
Look at this, the snake through the snake right now. It is spectacular stuff. There's Camburn leading the second group. Enser, Cephalo, Hines, Kachasik, and McTuckus.
These 2 packs, again, that's the issue with these cars. If you lose the draft,
yep.
And right now, Clark Camburn's hoping that maybe that he could just have Enser continue to just push him.
And it's interesting, in terms of outright speed, Camburn has sort of joined that elite group here with the work that Halderman's been doing on the engines. And everybody, you know, that might just be kind of new to Sports Car Club America and the like are going, boy, who's this Camburn guy? Well, he's had a couple of bronze medals in Formula Ford back when the Runoffs were racing at Mid-Ohio. He's got some chops and some racecraft.
Right, when he got into this, not having a top engine this year, finally was able to get one working this year to get that, and it's shown now he's got the speed.
Look at this. The break may be happening here. Burris and Ross. And then you've got behind them Drago working with Henderson, and Goulart has faded, and he's now under attack from Davis.
But he's on the right side of the track to take that line coming down the top of the roller coaster. You need to be on the right side of the track. If you're on the left, it starts to lose camber and pushes you out towards that hill, and you don't want to go over that hill. They've definitely broken those tops too, as Burris and Ross are now probably, it's got to be about 5 car lengths.
Well, Henderson and Drago really have to just be disciplined at this point. And remember, Drago, the only 2-time gold medalist in this class. He's got tons of experience. And these two need to figure out a way to work together a little bit to get back to Burris and Ross up front.
And they will. I think a lot of these drivers are smart enough to know when you're sitting in 4th and 5th and you can start to see those first 2 pull away, you know that I don't want to go by 3rd. I want to wait until I catch the others first. But right behind them, not quite the same with this pack, as they're every man for himself, it seems.
At this stage, I think you're absolutely right. Cameron, those 2 guys went by him, and he just squared up, dove underneath both of them. And it's going to be interesting to see. He's got enough speed, or does he, to keep the lead around Enser. Enser going to try and straight line it now to turn 4. He's got that line. Oh! Big slide for Cameron and into the barriers.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He got on that outside there. I thought maybe the 2 would be able to go side by side, but that's a tough pinch, that left-hander there.
And if the guy to the inside, if he's starting to slide a little bit, he's got to leave you the lane or you're off. And I think, that was just one of those moments when the guy to the inside started to slide just a little bit and collected Clark, and off he went. So that changes the dynamic here just a little bit, and now it's that white car of Enser that's leading that second group. But look at this, as you might expect, that train has caught those 2 leaders once again. Watch it here.
There's no contact yet, but wait till they hit the brakes and make the second part of this left series.
It was actually the blue car that I don't think Clark ever saw that blue car coming up the inside. He's backed out and is continuing. That's the good news.
That's good, and also means there's no chance of another caution. That was actually the first full course caution in Spec Miata in 7 years, worth pointing out.
Yeah.
They've definitely shaken that old reputation, as this is great clean racing, especially at the front. These guys have been awesome.
Look at that move. Reynolds looked like he had the 96 of Thomas covered, and Thomas carried so much speed down through the roller coaster. This is a guy who's putting on one of the drives of this one. 14th is where he started, and he's duking it out for 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. That's a great run. Here we go. Coming down, we'll have 5 laps to go when they cross start finish. And here comes Ross with Henderson and Drago going with him, trying to push their way by. And look at that. You get those 3 cars working together, and Burris looks like he's tied to a post.
That is amazing. It's just watching the 3 of them together, but Burris kept track position. He's going to be on the inside.
Now he's just got to stay, no contact here. And it's going to be Henderson and Burris side by side coming up here into turn 3. Henderson, the silver 97. Burris is going to be trapped on the outside. We've already seen what can happen when you got 2 cars side by each through here. You try and force it down to 3. Drago pops to the inside, trying to make something happen.
And those are teammates. Those are teammates there.
Touched.
With Burris and Drago, and I think they may have been the 2 that contacted each other.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Shows you just how really valuable the real estate is down there. There's just nowhere to go.
And Drago now got off line, bounding over the curbs. There comes Thomas alongside.
Oh, this
Pardis coming with him. But for everybody following now, that lead duo, that's a big gap.
Oh, not here, not in the S's.
Side by side up through the climbing S's. Oh, that's brave.
That is pucker factor right there, going to those S's side by side.
That's Matt Reynolds. He's certainly got no qualms about racing hard. He's a former national champion, certainly in the production classes. Here we go. Now Burris, Drago right behind him. Thomas running a little wide, bouncing off the exit of turn 12. That's going to still kill a little bit of his momentum here, and he's going to get freight trained.
So I was wondering, watching Pardis a lap ago at the back of this field, I was wondering when is he going to try and make this move, and you see now he's up into, I believe that's 4th.
And look at this, Reynolds tucked into behind that train, then popped to the other side, and he had a taker go with him here.
Yeah.
And now they've tucked in behind Goulart, trying to force their way by Pardis in the 42.
So Pardis now to 5th. Last year he had the same issue. He started a little further back in the pack, got himself up into a huge battle with Haldeman for third. Ended up, I think, sixth, but he was in this huge battle, so he knows how to close out races and how to keep it close. The battle at Indy a couple of years ago was legendary.
Absolutely.
With the way Pardus had a great strategy right at the end. He may have a similar strategy. Stay close. Maybe don't lead the start of the last lap. You want to lead the checker.
Absolutely. 4 laps to go. A couple of cars having a big moment down at the exit. I think it was in that second or third group of cars. Meanwhile, here we go. Oh, and the leader, Ross, getting swamped down into turn 1. Henderson in the silver car to the inside. Burris in the white blue car to the outside. And then squaring up underneath, here comes Drago in that green and white machine. This is cut and thrust. We're into these final few laps. I'm not sure friendships are going to be important at this stage. Drago, almost running wide, and as a result, Henderson gets the run, cuts back down underneath.
Henderson gave him just enough room to stay on pavement there on that new apron they paved a couple of years ago.
Drago back in, swinging around as they head into the snake. And up front, Burris finds himself with a smidge of breathing room. That's going to go away in a hurry here when these guys work together.
They can't get back together. Once they got separated on that 5th, 6th lap, they have not been able to get back together. But now it's kind of every man for himself. But again, watching that white car, Preston Pardus, he's trying to make that move. I think is that right behind Ross, I believe.
But I think everybody is very aware of what you're talking about. Do not let those two East Street guys get together. Drago's car looks like it's gone off a little bit. It's really sliding around. He's starting to pack up cars behind him just a smidge.
Reynolds and Goulart are just they're kind of touching quarter panels there all the way into Oak Tree.
All right, now Henderson has got to Burris, and he's going to try and make the break right now.
I almost wonder if he knows that he wants to try and pull this. Maybe their last chance. He's just going to tuck in and stay.
Then it's Drago third to 22 of Ross trying to come up alongside. He and Pardus are side by side in the braking zone. 13, now 14.
Pardus on the good side of the track. That's where you want to be. He's got the advantage. As soon as he gets the touch down the hill, they're touching all the way. It's clean.
Yeah, it's not a shove. It's just a tap.
It's great car control.
It is.
In those limited quarters to touch bumpers and not send the other guy, because that's downhill. There's just no mechanical grip, really. The cars want to just slide off track.
It's off camber, yeah. I mean, the whole thing. And that's what makes this class so fascinating. It is a momentum class. It's about car control, carrying speed. Right now, Ross and Henderson looking to see what the margins are, because that might be the biggest margin we have seen between these leaders for a while here. That top two back to Drago. Yeah, it's up over a second in this class. That is a huge lead. So have we seen the top two break away into mano a mano, or can this pack behind them close it up and make it a multi-car scrap for the gold in Spec Miata? Through the snake comes our leaders, the group of two, Burris and Henderson, then the group of 6 behind them, led by Drago, but the margin is a pretty substantial one. They have to figure out, actually Drago has dropped back a bit now. He's back in 6th. And I'd seen that car looking a bit tail happy, and he has lost a little bit more ground. In 74, Reynolds has gone through.
Now he's between the pros of Reynolds and Goulart. Those guys have been very racy the last couple laps. But again, watching Pardus as he continues to move, this gap's going to be tough. But if he can get a run, he's got 2 more shots down the roller coaster to close that gap. And again, you can see Henderson, he's not willing to pop out. He knows he wants to keep Pardus behind him.
Absolutely. Right now, Ross knows his only hope of getting up into a run for the medals here is to work with Pardus to catch those two. So he's going to be pretty circumspect. And you would think these guys understand the big picture.
And Burris, though, driving very well.
Yes,
2015, he was 4th at that massive under the lights down in Daytona. When it was wet, it was dry. He was just off the podium there. He is looking to try and make sure he stays on the podium here. This is first pole, and he's still leading with about 2 laps to go.
Here we go down through Hog Pen as we will come up and have 2 laps left in this run. And, you know, the name of the class is Spec Miata, and the key word there is spec. I mean, these are two different chassis essentially, but they are prepped to be virtually identical in terms of performance, and that means, you know, getting the right setup on the car, right tire choice, pressures, etc.
Sure.
But it's down to the
You've
driver.
got the NA's chassis, the 1.6 motors, the 1.8 of the NA's, which you would see back there. Cephalo still runs. Then you've got the 1.8 NBs and then the NB2s with the VVT 1.8s, but they end up doing a little weight balance on them to get them to be this competitive. And you can see they've done a pretty darn good job equalizing performance.
And it really puts it into the hands of the drivers. You know, if everything else is right and equal, if you get the job done, it's on you. If you don't, it's on you. And right there, I just want to point out Reynolds. You see him run wide as he came through turn number 4B and into 5, cost him a couple of spots.
Pardis is doing his work again. I'm really
Look
watching
at
him.
this.
And he's got Ross pushing him behind, and that's helped. These 4 now are trying to break away from the 5th spot there.
Yep, that 5th spot is Drago, that green and white machine sitting back in 5th. But yeah, they've essentially caught it. It is going to be a 4-car scrap here with about a lap and a half to go. Tricky turn 10 and a crucial approach through turn 11 and then run out of 12 here.
And these cars no ABS, even if the car from the factory came with it, we expect not we don't. So this is all about the driver's touch with that braking foot.
It's all about that feel. It makes these classes so special. And let's see now if Pardis is close enough to be able to get a little bit of a haul off Henderson and bring Ross with him.
They're going to go through Hog Pen, and if there's any kind of a run for Pardis down the roller coaster into Hog Pen, he can make it real interesting going into 1. We've already seen 3 wide before. Yep. We might be seeing it again here in a half a lap.
Well, they've caught him. They didn't have enough steam to be able to try and make a move, but at least now it's 4 cars. That's what Pardis and Ross wanted to see.
So one of these 4 is not going to be on the podium if these things keep moving. So no one wants to be that first one off podium.
And Goulart drafted by Drago on that back stretch. He's now in 5th, and Drago slips to 6th.
Just don't know if he's close enough to catch these 4.
White flag will be coming out. 1 lap to go.
Who pops
run
first?
For the national
Who
champion.
pops first?
Exactly.
It's going to be Henderson or Pardis. Who's the first?
There's the flag. Pardis wanted to do it. Burris covered him a little bit.
They both pop.
And here goes Henderson to the outside, and we've seen grip out here. Not enough. See him lock up?
He did, yep. Just got a little bit too wide there. And now he's gone ahead and let Ross get up underneath him.
Boy, you called it Pardis. He's just man with a plan here.
He was just waiting. He was just waiting in the wings. He was back there 9th saying, no problem, I can do this. And he's been going about 1 spot, maybe 2 spots a lap. And now he's got Burris right where he wants him.
Pardis, a couple of top 3s in the VIR National here in the spring. So he's got good track knowledge. And he and Burris, and keep in mind now, these are the 2 guys that started on the front row. They're teammates.
Pardis trying to be the the second of the 2-time champions here in Spec Miata. And Drago, the one that already has his 2 wins. Pardis trying to be the next one in that small, elusive club.
A little bit of a moment for Henderson. Now has him in 4th.
Pardis is so quick.
Yeah, he is. And that really kind of clipped Ross just a little bit, too. Was behind him and had to breathe it. He's lost a little bit of touch. So here we go.
Watch him here in the braking. See if he waits until after the straightaway. Yeah, he's going to wait. You hear him get on the gas so early.
Pardis got that car straightened up a little bit sooner. He got a great run through 12.
It looked like Ross caught a little bit of dirt out there. Didn't seem to hurt his momentum too badly, but I don't know that he's got enough to catch these front 2. Let's see where Preston pops out. It's a hard side if he goes left. He's got to go right if he wants the inside down roller coaster.
I think he moved out so he didn't kill his momentum. Tuck back in,
protect.
pops now. Now back in again. He is trying to play into the mirrors to get Burris to get distracted. Anything you can do. Todd Burris, pretty savvy driver here.
Burris was not going to give up that inside. No. He knew better. No matter what Preston was doing on that outside, he wasn't going to fall for it.
There is a lap car up in front, but I think he's far enough away. Shouldn't hopefully be an issue. Here we go. Last time through 17, the corner they call Hog Pen. Todd Burris started on the pole. He has driven brilliantly, always been in the top queue. Pardis dropped back from 2nd, has fought his way back into 2nd, but not close enough. Burris will take the gold. Pardis a stout 2nd place. And Ross should be 3rd with Henderson 4th. And looks like Goulart was able to hang on for 5th. What a race. And, you know, you look at the results, it's like, that's how they qualified. Top 2, that's how it was. doesn't tell the story at all.
Hardly a green to checker run for Todd Burris. He was as far back as about 4th or 5th at one point, moved his way back up, fought off all kinds of threats. He had Ross threatening him for a while. He had Goulart, he had Henderson, he had Pardis. All of them had a shot. None of them could quite hold it. Todd Burris, what a run.
Somebody running a little wide down at the bottom here. We're watching Matt Fielding Russell in the number 30. He's racing with Whitfield Gregg and a couple of other competitors. Back in the pack just a little bit, Domenico Liucci. Oh, and a couple of cars. A little bit of a touch right at the finish line. Got them a bit squirrely. 60-car field, and if you finish 40th, that's better than 50th, and you are racing hard right to the line. That's the passion of Spec Miata, the passion of SCCA
Race until you
members.
see that checker, and then you find a way to slow down if you have to. And sometimes use a little bit of off-road. Oh, what a race. What a race.
Absolutely fantastic. Just massive strategy play, and watching Pardis after he got shuffled back. We've seen him do that before at races. He's so patient, doesn't lose his cool, reads things, has stuff figured out. And at the end, here you go. The medals will go to Todd Burris, Preston Pardis, and Michael Ross, with Brian Henderson in 4th. Element Goulart rounds out the top 5. Jim Drago back in 6th. Jonathan Davis 7th. Matt Reynolds 8th. Jared Thomas again was a real player. And Nicholas Bruni finds himself up into the top 10 as this one finished after 15 laps of the run for the gold here at VIR. Everybody's sort of marveling at how this race unfolded, I think. And Todd Burris has slowed way down, and I think he's savoring this moment, Larry, as the field is going to be making their way in.
That man right there, though, talk about a hard charger. You don't get credit for it when you start second and finish second, but when you drop to 9th with about 5 laps to go and you get yourself all the way back to second, that is a hard charger worthy. Great, great drive. That entire pack of 9, great drive.
After an absolutely fascinating race, into the medals area come your top 3 finishers. 2nd place, Preston Pardis. And then you're going to see the number 22, the green machine of Ross, in the background, and then everybody will be waiting for your gold medalist. And that blue and white number 56 of Todd Burris will be making his way in as well. But for this entire field, again, 60 cars starting this one. Fabulous racing, battling throughout. Didn't matter where you were. Just incredible racing, and that's one of the absolute joys here as Preston steps out of that car. Gets some congratulations, obviously, and just a beautiful afternoon here. A little hazy, but warm, lovely at Virginia International Raceway, and this field put on an absolutely cracker of a race.
This was great. Watching Burris go from pole, mix it up, come back with his first win, his first podium. Ross, his first trip to the podium. Pardis in between. He's been there a few times, and boy, just showing the chops to stay right in that front every single year.
Absolutely, and in his 4th start in the championship, he's got a gold, and he had earlier today finished 7th in T3, but boy, did he make it work today. Look at the emotion, look at the joy, look at the passion, and looking at it up close and personal is Hayward Wagner.
Todd Burris, last lap of the runoffs. You look in your mirror and you see Preston Pardis. What are your thoughts?
What teammates. Oh my God, all week we've been working together, and East Street just put together a great car. Last lap, I see Preston, he ducks out, comes back in, ducks out under braking, and we were side by side. We're clean as a whistle, came out in front, and he just congratulated me. So, Spec Miata, national champion, 56th running, 56 car. Hey, it was a great year.
What does this mean to you to get the gold medal at the runoffs?
Oh, it's you work so hard your whole life, and this is a 1 in a million deal. Actually, the joke is Jim has 2, Preston has 1. I can't hang out with them anymore because I don't have any. Been racing for 20 years, and there's no feeling like this. When you're coming down all kinds of different stuff, but man, coming down and realizing it and let it sink in. SCCA puts on a hell of an event, and it was all week, and it was awesome. So Hoosier, East Street Racing, my wife and kids, oh my God, let me come here for 7 days. Just a great event. Had had a blast. Car came through clean. It was a great race. The car was hooked up, could do no wrong. So a lot of compilation to get to this point, and God, it was awesome. It was so awesome. I just can't begin to tell you how cool it is.
Congratulations to you. You get one more lap, this one with a flag.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Right on.
Yeah, there you see it. I mean, that tells you the story right there, just that energy and that passion as you take another look at those top 10. And he made a good point, 56 car. I wonder if he did that on purpose here, knowing it was a 56 car.
Beautiful thing there.
Little karma.
It is.
Karma playing out. Yeah, beautiful at that. Again, I mean, throughout this top 10 and throughout the field, some great racing. But again, Jared Thomas up from 14th into the top 10. Just some great stuff unfolding. And we got 2 more medalists to hear from. Haywood?
Preston, that last lap, you'd clawed your way from 9th up to 2nd. What did you need on that last lap that you couldn't find?
I think we needed a little bit better track position. I kept on making little mistakes and drove off a few times, rubbing doors with other guys, and finally there at the end with 3 or 4 to go probably, got in good position and found my buddy Todd there at the end. So it was awesome, made it in a East Street 1-2 finish. That guy's taught me a lot. He's taught me almost everything I know. So it's awesome to finish second to him, but we went for it there on the backstretch and just didn't have enough. So.
A lot of times in this race, you were going around 1 and other corners, 2, 3 cars wide. What is it like to race with this group at the Runoffs?
They're the best of the business in Spec Miata. They know how to race wheel to wheel with each other without taking people out. Me and Michael, Todd, Jim, all those guys up front, it's a blast to race with. I couldn't do it without the East Street guys, so like I said, my dad and my parents for letting me do this. Hoosier Racing Tire for the best tire in SCCA, 5X Racing, Danish Utilities, Daytona 1, and a bunch of guys, and G-Lock Brakes.
Congratulations on another podium. Michael Ross, you round out this podium. You were in the thick of it the whole time. What was this like for you?
Hey, man, that was like 1 against 5. I was racing as hard as I could, and car was great. X-Factor Racing put together a great car. This is a brand virgin weekend for it, so it's maiden voyage, and it was awesome. Just had a lot of fun. Man, did I have some fun. That was the hardest I've ever had to work for a podium.
Well, congratulations on a bronze here at the Runoffs.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Tell you what, he showed his intention early with that first couple of laps, that big dive when he said, nope, I'm not playing this teammate game. I'm splitting here. We're going after it here. And he made him work for it.
It kind of changed the whole outside of the race. You can see here at the replay, the teammates stuck together with Drago and Burris. But it was Ross to kind of get in there, break that up, and that just changed it all.
Yep, and there you can see that was when Pardis and Reynolds dropped back. Then one of the drivers considered to be a real player in this one, Denny Stain, pulling off with a car problem, and then it caught the grass on fire after precipitated a full course yellow and changed things up. Everything ended up being okay. And then on the restart, it got furious. And right there was Henderson's moment, and he got in a little too hot, and it cost him. And you can see right there, Ross slipped in front, but that's what created the split. And then on the last lap, down to the line, Todd Burris coming through and claiming his first national championship at the Runoffs and doing it in one of the most competitive of classes, Spec Miata. Congratulations, Mr. Burris.
I probably need new tires.
You do.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires.
We have so many tires.
And help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea.
Sorry.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.